The spaceport on Arden 7 was always busy, even at odd hours. Ships of all shapes and sizes hummed and clanked, docking and undocking in a seemingly chaotic rhythm. Humans and aliens bustled through the wide concourses, trading goods, exchanging information, or just moving between worlds. For most, this was just another ordinary day. For Captain Eli Ward, it was about to become anything but ordinary. Eli stepped off his transport shuttle, adjusting the straps of his gear. He had been traveling for days, moving from system to system on a diplomatic mission. His ship, the Pathfinder, sat gleaming in the docking bay, freshly refueled and ready for the next leg of its journey. Eli was known for his calm demeanor and sharp instincts, qualities that had saved him more than once. Yet, nothing in his experience could have prepared him for what awaited him today. He checked the mission orders again. A routine meeting with a visiting dignitary from Zyphora, a distant planet known for its advanced technology and strict hierarchy. Nothing unusual. The mission briefing had been short but clear. Welcome the dignitary, exchange cultural insights, and report back. Simple enough. Or so he thought. The corridors of the diplomatic complex were quieter than usual. Most of the staff had already gone home, leaving a faint hum of machinery and the occasional clink of metal echoing through the halls. Eli's boots echoed softly against the polished floor as he made his way to the designated meeting room. Something about the emptiness made him feel off. A tingle of anticipation ran down his spine, though he couldn't pinpoint why. As he approached the chamber, he noticed the door slightly ajar. A soft, golden light spilled out into the corridor. He hesitated for a moment, curiosity gnawing at him. In most cases, he would have knocked, but something compelled him to push the door open and step inside. What he saw made him freeze. Standing in the middle of the room was a figure, unlike anything he had expected. A woman, tall and graceful, with flowing hair that shimmered faintly, catching the light like liquid metal. Her eyes were striking a deep, glowing amber that seemed almost unnatural. And yet, she wore the appearance of a human woman. Her features elegant and refined, dressed in simple attire that suggested both nobility and approachability. Eli blinked, unsure what to say. He had met many diplomats and even a few aliens in disguise before, but this was different. Something about her presence radiated authority. Yet there was a softness, a warmth, that made her feel almost real. She turned toward him, as if sensing his gaze. For a moment, she froze, her expression unreadable. Then, almost playfully, she said, "You weren't supposed to see this." Her voice was melodic, slightly accented, carrying a weight that suggested centuries of careful training in diplomacy. Eli's mind raced. I'm sorry," he stammered. "I didn't mean to intrude. I thought this was the meeting room." Her eyes narrowed slightly, but not in anger. Instead, there was a hint of amusement, almost a challenge. "Curiosity is dangerous, Captain Ward. You have a habit of finding things others want hidden." Eli swallowed. I didn't mean." He stopped himself, realizing that explanations were probably unnecessary. She already knew who he was. Somehow, she always knew. The figure took a step closer, her movements fluid and precise, yet natural. Eli noticed subtle differences. The way her fingertips glowed faintly when brushing against the holographic displays. The way the light seemed to ripple across her skin in an unusual pattern. These were not human traits. Then it hit him. She wasn't human. "My name is Princess Leora," she said softly, yet firmly. "I am from Zyphora. And yes, I am not as I appear." Her gaze held his, unwavering, as if daring him to question further. Eli's heart raced. This was no routine meeting. This was something far greater, far more dangerous. Disguised as human? He asked cautiously. Yes, Leora replied. And you must not reveal it to anyone. My exposure could ignite a conflict between worlds. You, Captain Ward, have just become part of a very delicate secret. Eli nodded slowly, processing the weight of her words. He had faced threats before, from rogue pirates to hostile environments. But this was a political and diplomatic minefield. One wrong move could have disastrous consequences, not just for him but for entire planets. For a long moment, silence filled the room. The only sound was the faint hum of the machinery around them. Then Leora spoke again, her tone lighter, almost teasing. Do you always stumble into situations like this? Eli couldn't help but smirk. Apparently, yes. Seems to be my specialty. The princess's lips curved into a small smile. Then we are in luck. I believe I will need a human's unique approach to navigate what comes next. And so it began. Eli found himself drawn into a world of secrets, where every action had consequences far beyond the walls of the room. Leora explained her situation carefully. Zyphora was a planet with strict hierarchies, and her presence on Arden 7 inches disguise was part of a delicate negotiation. Discovery could lead to political unrest, or worse, a galactic conflict. But more than that, Eli realized. This was a test not just of loyalty, but of ingenuity. Humans, Leora said, had a reputation across the stars. Courageous, resourceful, unpredictable. Traits that other species sometimes underestimated. And now, she needed him to prove it. Eli's mind worked quickly. So, you want me to help you remain hidden? Yes, Leora confirmed. But more than that, you will need to navigate the corridors, the security systems, and the curious eyes that might see what should not be seen. You must be clever, Captain. And above all, discreet. He nodded. I can do that. I'll do whatever it takes. Act, Mike, any. The princess studied him for a moment, then seemed satisfied. Good. Let us begin. The next few hours were a blur. Eli learned to move through hidden passages, to bypass security protocols without triggering alarms, and to anticipate human and alien curiosity alike. Leora shared snippets of her world, its customs, its subtle technologies, and the wisdom she had gained from observing countless civilizations. And yet, through it all, Eli remained keenly aware of the stakes. One mistake, one slip, and the fragile peace could shatter. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him, but he also felt something else. The thrill of being part of something greater, something that mattered not just for him, but for countless others across the galaxy. By the time the first day's work ended, Eli and Leora had formed an uneasy alliance. She trusted him, cautiously but genuinely, and he respected her intelligence and grace. Together, they had begun to weave a delicate web of secrecy, strategy, and trust. Before leaving, Leora turned to him one last time. Remember, Captain, the universe is larger than any one species. And humans have a way of surprising even the most experienced observers. Eli nodded. Then, let's make sure they see the right side of us. As he stepped back into the bustling corridors of Arden 7, the hum of ships and voices around him seemed different somehow. He was no longer just a traveler or a diplomat. He was part of a story larger than himself, a story where humanity's courage, cleverness, and heart could shine across the stars. And for the first time in a long while, Eli felt the excitement of the unknown not as a threat, but as a challenge. One he was ready to face. The moment the door clicked behind him, Eli felt the weight of the responsibility he had taken on. Arden 7's corridors no longer seemed mundane. Every shadow, every passing worker, every flickering light could hold the potential for discovery. Yet, Despite the danger, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. He was no longer just a traveler. He was a protector of a secret that could affect entire worlds. Princess Leora stood a few steps ahead, her glowing amber eyes scanning the room with a sharp, practiced focus. Even in disguise, she exuded authority and intelligence. "You must understand, Eli," she said softly. "This mission is not just about me. It's about trust, diplomacy, and survival. The moment my true identity is discovered, the fragile balance of multiple alliances could collapse." Eli nodded, steadying his nerves. "I understand, and I'm ready to help." Leora smiled faintly, a mixture of relief and approval. "Good. Then we begin immediately. There is much to do, and little time to do it. A web of secrets." The first step was learning the complex layout of the diplomatic complex. Leora led Eli through corridors that were hidden to most visitors, showing him maintenance tunnels, service lifts, and emergency exits. Some were dusty, long-forgotten paths rarely used, while others had advanced security systems that could detect the slightest anomaly. "Humans are clever," Leora remarked as they maneuvered through a narrow service shaft. "Your species often relies on improvisation, ingenuity, and a willingness to face danger. These traits will be essential." Eli smirked. "You're about to find out just how clever and reckless I can be." The first real test came almost immediately. A pair of security drones glided silently down a hallway, just as they were about to cross into a restricted area. The drones were equipped with infrared sensors and motion detectors, and they patrolled in a perfect, predictable pattern. Eli observed them carefully. "Follow my lead," Leora whispered. Eli crouched low, moving with deliberate precision, his hands brushing against the wall to avoid triggering sensors. The drones passed within meters, their sleek bodies humming quietly. Eli felt his pulse spike, but he stayed calm, remembering Leora's words about human ingenuity. When the drones moved out of sight, he allowed himself a quiet laugh. "That was close." "Love." Leora's smile widened. "Close is often where humans thrive. You see danger and act, even when others hesitate." Unexpected challenges. The next few days were a whirlwind of challenges. Eli and Leora had to coordinate carefully to avoid drawing attention while she maintained her disguise as a human diplomat. They created false schedules, staged decoy meetings, and even used holographic projections to mislead curious observers. At one point, Eli found himself improvising an escape route when an unexpected inspector appeared in a corridor. Using a maintenance lift, he lifted Leora into a concealed compartment above the ceiling panels. The inspector walked past, oblivious, commenting to a colleague about the thoroughness of the complex's organization. "Humans always find solutions," Leora remarked when they were safely hidden. "I am beginning to see why your species is respected throughout the galaxy." Eli laughed quietly. "And yet, I still think you're underestimating how unpredictable humans can be." Their days were filled with tension, strategy, and small victories. Yet beneath it all, a bond was forming. Leora began to trust Eli not just with her safety, but with her thoughts, ideas, and concerns. In turn, Eli respected her intelligence, grace, and the heavy responsibility she carried on her shoulders. Learning from each other. Despite the danger, Leora also used this time to teach Eli about Xiferan culture. She explained the social hierarchies, the importance of subtle gestures, and the technology that allowed her species to live longer and think faster than most humans. Eli shared human ingenuity, his experiences traveling through hazardous regions of space, and his ability to solve problems in unpredictable ways. One evening, as they reviewed a map of the complex, Leora asked, "How does your species manage conflict without revealing weakness?" Eli thought for a moment. "Humans often rely on creativity, collaboration, and quick thinking. We may not have the most advanced technology in every case, But we find ways to adapt and survive. Sometimes, that's more valuable than brute force. Leora nodded slowly. Adaptability. Yes. I can see why humans are admired. It is a rare trait among many advanced civilizations. For Eli, it was a revelation. Not only was he protecting Leora, he was demonstrating why humans were considered resourceful and reliable allies across the galaxy. Every decision, every clever maneuver, every small act of courage was a testament to humanity's potential. The first real threat. Despite their careful planning, threats emerged. A group of spies from a rival faction had begun to notice unusual patterns around the diplomatic complex. Reports of suspicious movements reached Leora's advisors, putting her cover at risk. Eli and Leora had to act quickly. They devised a plan to mislead the observers while continuing their mission. Eli suggested using a holographic projection of Leora walking in a different part of the complex. Leora enhanced the projection with Xiferan technology, making it nearly impossible to distinguish from reality. The first test of the plan was tense. A spy passed near the projection, scrutinizing it carefully. Eli held his breath, heart pounding. The spy finally moved on, muttering to a colleague. Nothing unusual here. Leora exhaled softly. Your ideas are proving valuable, Captain. Humans have a remarkable ability to think outside the constraints of rules and protocol. Eli smiled, feeling a rare moment of pride. It's good to know at least one alien thinks that about us. Building trust. Over time, Eli and Leora developed an unspoken rhythm. They anticipated each other's moves, completed tasks seamlessly, and shared moments of quiet reflection amidst the chaos. One night, Eli asked, "Do you ever feel lonely, even with all this power and responsibility?" Leora looked thoughtful. Lonely? Perhaps. I am always surrounded by advisors, courtiers, and guards. Yet, very few see me as I truly am. Most only see the title, the status, the public face. Rarely do they see the person beneath. Eli nodded. I understand. Humans may be simpler, but we value honesty and connection. That can be powerful sometimes more than any technology or political maneuver. Leora's eyes softened. Then you, Captain, are a rare ally, one who sees more than the mask. That is why I trust you. The acknowledgement strengthened their partnership. Both realized that while technology and strategy were vital, trust and loyalty were equally essential in navigating the dangers ahead. A narrow escape. Their biggest challenge came when security drones were upgraded unexpectedly. These new units had advanced sensors capable of detecting minor anomalies, including the faint glow of Xiferan biology. Eli had to improvise quickly. He led Leora through a series of maintenance tunnels, sliding panels, and air ducts. At one point, a drone turned the corner, just as they were crossing a narrow passage. Eli grabbed Leora's hand, pulling her into a hidden alcove. The drone passed within inches, its sensors scanning. Not bad for a human, Leora whispered, once the danger had passed. You are fearless. Eli chuckled, trying to calm his own racing heart. Fearless? Maybe. But mostly smart enough to survive. Despite the danger, their ingenuity and teamwork allowed them to evade capture. Eli realized something important. Humans were capable of thinking in ways other species could not, combining courage with creativity to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. Strength in unity. By the end of the week, Eli and Leora had turned what began as a precarious alliance into a strong partnership. They had learned to anticipate threats, outsmart opponents, and protect Leora's secret. More importantly, Eli had begun to understand why humans were admired across the galaxy, not for power or strength alone, but for adaptability, creativity, and loyalty. The princess herself acknowledged it. You have proven humans are capable of much more than some species believe. You are brave, intelligent, and dare I say, remarkably resourceful. I am glad to have you by my side. Well, 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 well. Eli smiled. It's an honor to serve, Princess. Together, we can handle anything. Leora nodded, a hint of a smile on her lips. Indeed. But remember, our work is far from over. The moment of exposure may be delayed, but it will come. When it does, we must be ready. Eli's resolve hardened. He would stand by her, no matter the danger. He had seen what humans were capable of, and he knew that together, they could face whatever challenges awaited, because courage, intelligence, and trust were humanity's greatest strengths. And so, as the sun set over Arden 7, casting long shadows across the complex, Eli and Leora prepared for the trials ahead. The galaxy was vast and full of threats, but they had learned that together, and with human ingenuity leading the way, no challenge was insurmountable. The morning light filtered through the towering windows of the Arden 7 diplomatic complex, casting long, golden beams across the polished floors. Captain Eli Ward stood quietly in a shadowed corridor, listening to the distant hum of the bustling spaceport. It had been days since the near-discovery incident, and the pressure on him and Princess Leora had never been higher. Every step, every glance, every sound could reveal her secret and endanger the fragile peace that hung over multiple planets. Leora appeared beside him, her amber eyes calm yet alert. Her posture was poised, but Eli could sense the tension beneath her serene exterior. Today may be the most dangerous day yet, she said softly. They are closing in faster than we expected. Eli nodded. Then we stay smart, stay quiet, and act fast. We've handled worse. Worse? Leora raised a single eyebrow. I am curious to hear which moments you call worse than risking exposure of a princess. Eli chuckled softly. There was a planet with a collapsing magnetic field, a cargo ship full of volatile crystals, and an angry alien colony that thought humans were invaders. But yes, this might be worse. She allowed a small smile. I see your confidence is intact. That will be helpful. The rising threat. The rival faction had been patient. They watched from shadows, gathering reports and analyzing every pattern. Their goal was clear: expose Leora's identity and manipulate the political fallout for their advantage. Intelligence reports suggested spies had infiltrated multiple departments within the complex. Every ally Leora trusted could potentially be a threat. Eli studied the latest scans of the facility. They're efficient, but predictable, he said. They rely on patterns, routines, and assumptions. We'll use that against them. Leora's gaze sharpened. And what do you suggest? Eli pointed to the holographic display. We make them chase shadows. We set decoys, misdirect them, and show strength where they expect weakness. The galaxy respects courage and cleverness. If we use both, humans can tip the balance. Her eyes glimmered with approval. Then let us proceed, Captain Ward. Show them what your species is capable of. The plan in motion. The first step was creating multiple decoys of Leora throughout the complex. Using advanced holographic projectors and Zypheran's stealth technology, Eli and Leora replicated her appearance, even mimicking subtle gestures and patterns. Staff and curious observers saw the princess in different locations at the same time, ensuring that anyone tracking her would be confused and frustrated. Meanwhile, Eli worked on misdirecting the rival spies. He used his knowledge of human psychology, predictable behaviors, assumptions, and patterns to set traps and false trails. A routine maintenance report would lead a spy to an empty room. A staged conversation with holographic assistants misled another faction into believing Leora had left the planet. By midday, the complex was a maze of illusions and half-truths. The rival faction had begun making mistakes, their plans unraveling as humans' unpredictability frustrated them. Leora watched Eli work, impressed by his calmness and ingenuity. "You think fast under pressure," she said. "Most beings would falter." Eli smiled faintly. "Pressure is where humans shine. We improvise, adapt, and overcome." The confrontation. Despite their careful planning, the rival faction discovered one of the decoys. Security alarms blared, and drones began scanning the halls. Eli grabbed Leora's hand and pulled her into a narrow service corridor. "Stay calm. This is exactly what we expected." Leora raised an eyebrow. "Expected?" "Yes. We draw them in, then strike where they least expect it." They navigated the labyrinth of maintenance tunnels, moving silently but swiftly. At strategic points, Eli triggered minor distractions, a spark here, a misfired alarm there, drawing the drones away from their path. Leora followed, her glowing amber eyes alert, her grace evident even in the cramped passageways. When they reached a central control hub, Eli interfaced with the systems. Using a combination of human intuition and Sci-Fi technology, he initiated a lockdown sequence, isolating the rival agents in a section of the complex. The moment was tense, every second stretching into eternity. Then, with a final command, the system sealed off the intruders, leaving them trapped and unable to interfere. Leora's lips curved into a rare, impressed smile. "Clever," she said. "Humans are truly remarkable." Eli shrugged modestly. "We try our best." The diplomatic gambit. Even with the immediate threat contained, the challenge of maintaining peace remained. Leora knew that a public revelation of her identity was inevitable. She and Eli had to plan the announcement carefully to prevent panic, political backlash, or opportunistic attacks from rival factions. Eli suggested a controlled ceremony, one that demonstrated transparency and strength. "Show them the truth, but on our terms," he explained. "We reveal who she is, explain why humans are allies, and prove that together, we are stronger." Leora considered the idea. "Yes. If the revelation is handled with clarity, honesty, and courage, it will strengthen the alliances rather than weaken them." The preparations were meticulous. Invitations were sent to key diplomatic leaders. Holographic messages ensured attendance across multiple planets, and Eli coordinated the security with human precision, ensuring no missteps. The public reveal. The day of the ceremony arrived. The grand hall was filled with representatives from dozens of worlds. Cameras and holographic transmitters broadcasted the event across the galaxy. Eli stood by Leora's side, a steady presence amidst the grandeur and tension. Leora approached the podium, her golden eyes scanning the crowd. With a calm breath, she activated the holographic mask that had concealed her human form. Slowly, the illusion faded, revealing her true Sci-Fi features. Gasps echoed through the hall. Eli could see the surprise and hesitation on the faces of many diplomats. But he also saw admiration, respect, and curiosity. Humans had predicted reactions, and the controlled reveal minimized chaos. "People of the galaxy," Leora began, her voice clear and commanding. "I am Princess Leora of Zyphora. My presence here in disguise was necessary to protect fragile alliances and to prevent conflict. Thanks to the courage and ingenuity of one human Captain Eli Ward, we have navigated danger and ensured the safety of many worlds." Applause and murmurs filled the hall. Eli felt a surge of pride, knowing that humans were being recognized not for dominance or power, but for intelligence, creativity, and loyalty, the very traits that made them admired throughout the stars. HFY moment. Humans shine. In the days following the reveal, humans across Arden 7 and neighboring systems were celebrated as capable allies. Eli received accolades for his bravery and ingenuity. Leora personally commended him, her words echoing in his mind. Humans are unpredictable, adaptable, and courageous. They inspire trust, solve problems in ways others cannot, and face danger with a combination of courage and intelligence. The galaxy is fortunate to have them as partners. For Eli, it was a moment of reflection. Humans had always explored, fought, and innovated. They had faced the unknown countless times, relying on their minds, hearts, and determination. Across the stars, their reputation was growing not as conquerors, but as problem solvers, diplomats, and allies capable of shaping the future of civilizations. The resolution. With the rival faction neutralized and Leora's identity safely revealed, peace returned to Arden 7. Alliances were strengthened, and the bonds between humans and Xiferans grew stronger. Eli and Leora continued to work together, now openly, planning future missions to foster diplomacy and collaboration across galaxies. One evening, as the twin suns set over the horizon, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and violet, Eli and Leora stood side by side. "Do you think humans are ready for what comes next?" Leora asked quietly. Eli gazed at the stars, their light reflecting in his eyes. "Humans? Always. We have courage, creativity, and heart. That's more than enough to face anything the galaxy throws at us." Leora smiled. "Then together, we will ensure a future where trust, ingenuity, and courage guide the stars." And as they looked out over Arden 7, the vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before them, full of challenges, adventures, and opportunities. Humanity had proven itself not through weapons or power, but through cleverness, bravery, and the ability to rise above fear. And the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The peace that followed Princess Leora's reveal was fragile. Even as Arden 7 thrived in the aftermath, whispers of dissent and hidden agendas drifted across the galaxy. Captain Eli Ward knew that while humans had proven their ingenuity, courage, and reliability, the universe was far larger and far more dangerous than any one victory could contain. He stood on the observation deck of the diplomatic complex, looking out over the bustling city below. Ships of countless species glided through the skyways, their engines humming in harmony with the city's rhythm. For a moment, it seemed like a perfect tableau of peace and cooperation. But Eli's instincts told him that calm would not last. Leora joined him, her amber eyes scanning the horizon. "The galaxy is celebrating. Yet shadows linger," she said softly. "Some factions did not welcome my exposure. They will not forget, nor forgive." Eli nodded. "Then we stay vigilant. They've already seen what humans are capable of. If they want to challenge us, they will have to deal with ingenuity, courage, and strategy. That's our advantage." Leora's gaze lingered on him. "And we will face it together." A new threat emerges. It began with minor incidents. Communications, disruptions, strange energy readings in nearby sectors, and reports of unidentified vessels behaving unusually. At first, these seemed like technical errors. But when a human research team on a distant moon reported an attempted sabotage of their experimental energy core, the pattern became clear. Someone, or some group, was testing the limits of human and Xiferan vigilance. Eli and Leora convened with the heads of the diplomatic council. Holographic displays projected live feeds of activity across multiple systems. Patterns emerged. Sophisticated hacking attempts, coordinated reconnaissance, and cryptic messages hinting at a new faction known as the Eclipsers, a shadowy organization intent on destabilizing galactic alliances. "The Eclipsers are unlike anything we've faced," Leora said, her voice steady but tinged with concern. "They are patient, intelligent, and ruthless. They study their opponents before striking." Eli's mind raced. "Then, we do the same. We use their patience against them. Humans are unpredictable. They think outside the box, improvise, and act where others hesitate. That's how we'll stay ahead. Strategic maneuvers. The next days were a whirlwind of planning, reconnaissance, and preparation. Eli and Leora led a team of humans and Xiphorans, combining tactics from both species to anticipate Eclipser's moves. Eli suggested a bold strategy. Instead of hiding from the Eclipsers, they would draw them into a trap. Using misinformation, holographic decoys, and controlled exposure of key operations, they lured the Eclipsers into a controlled sector of space, where human ingenuity and Xiphoran technology could corner them. "Your species thrives on improvisation," Leora said, as they reviewed the plan. "That unpredictability is an asset few other species possess." Eli smiled. "And it's exactly what they won't see coming." The first encounter. The trap was set in the neutral sector of Lyra 1-2, a barren system chosen for its isolation and strategic value. Eli piloted the Pathfinder, alongside Leora, and a squadron of human and Xiphoran ships. The Eclipsers approached cautiously, unaware of the decoys and electronic countermeasures laid out in advance. When the first wave of enemy vessels entered the sector, they found themselves surrounded by holographic projections of larger fleets, misleading sensors, and carefully timed energy pulses that disrupted their communications. Panic and confusion spread quickly among the intruders. Eli maneuvered deftly, guiding the human ships through asteroid belts and gravitational anomalies to gain tactical advantage. His combination of courage, quick thinking, and deep understanding of both human and Xiphoran technology turned what could have been a chaotic encounter into a controlled engagement. Leora watched in awe as Eli coordinated the operation. "This is why humans are admired," she said. "You see solutions where others see obstacles. You turn danger into opportunity." Courage and ingenuity. During the skirmish, one of the Eclipser's ships attempted to target a human research outpost. Eli acted without hesitation, using a combination of evasive maneuvers and energy countermeasures to protect the station. His actions saved countless lives and earned the respect of both human and Xiphoran crews. "You always seem to know what to do," Leora said after the battle. Eli shrugged modestly. "Humans are good at adapting. Danger teaches us to think fast and act faster. We don't wait for perfect conditions. We create them." The victory was decisive, but Eli knew it was only the beginning. The Eclipsers were patient and resourceful. They would regroup, adapt, and strike again. Humanity's reputation had been strengthened, but the galaxy was far from safe. Political intrigue. Back on Arden 7, the aftermath of the encounter brought another layer of complexity. Some alien factions, impressed by human ingenuity, openly advocated for stronger alliances. Others, wary of human influence, sought to limit their involvement. Leora and Eli navigated delicate negotiations, using transparency, courage, and clever strategy to maintain unity. Eli observed the proceedings, noting the subtle interplay of influence and power. "We adapt, communicate, and solve problems creatively. That's why other species trust us." Leora nodded. "Your species combines courage, intellect, and adaptability in ways that inspire confidence. This is why I believe humans will continue to shape the galaxy for generations." The heart of humanity. Amidst battles and politics, Eli never lost sight of the human qualities that made him effective: courage, loyalty, and empathy. He saved a young alien diplomat from harm during a tense protest, negotiated peace between two feuding planetary councils, and devised solutions that combined logic with compassion. Each action reinforced humanity's reputation across the stars not as conquerors, but as protectors, problem solvers, and reliable allies. Leora observed him closely. "Courage is important," she said. "But empathy, creativity, and loyalty, these are what truly make humans exceptional. They see beyond the immediate threat and act for the greater good." Eli smiled. We've had to survive in a chaotic universe. Being clever, brave, and compassionate isn't optional. It's survival. The final gambit. The Eclipsers, realizing their previous attempt had failed, launched a coordinated strike on multiple sectors simultaneously. Eli and Leora knew that this would be the ultimate test of human ingenuity and bravery. They divided their forces, using decoys, advanced Xiferan stealth tech, and clever strategies to counter each assault. At critical moments, Eli improvised solutions that no protocol or computer could predict. Rerouting energy flows, using gravitational anomalies to block enemy ships, and coordinating multi-species squads in real time. Each move was calculated, yet executed with instinctive precision. The climax of the battle came when a flagship of the Eclipsers attempted a direct attack on Arden 7. Eli piloted the Pathfinder alongside Leora's personal ship, weaving through debris fields and energy pulses to intercept the vessel. In a daring move, he used the environment against them, guiding the ship into a trap that neutralized its weapon systems without causing collateral damage. Leora watched from her cockpit, her eyes shining with admiration. "Humans are remarkable," she whispered. "You inspire confidence, hope, and courage. This is why the galaxy will never underestimate them." Victory and recognition. The battle concluded with a decisive victory for Eli, Leora, and their allies. The Eclipsers were scattered, their leadership captured, or in retreat. The coordinated efforts of humans and Xiferans demonstrated not only military skill but also strategy, empathy, and adaptability qualities that made humans stand out among the stars. A formal recognition ceremony followed. Leaders from multiple species acknowledged the contributions of humans, praising their courage, ingenuity, and loyalty. Eli received a Medal of Honor from Leora herself, her amber eyes reflecting both respect and gratitude. "You have proven, once again, that humanity is capable of extraordinary feats," she said. "Not through power alone, but through intellect, courage, and heart. You are a reminder to the galaxy that humans are more than worthy allies." Eli bowed respectfully. "I only did what humans do best: adapt, improvise, and protect those who need help. Together, we can face anything. The future awaits." In the days that followed, Eli and Leora continued to strengthen alliances, ensuring that the galaxy remained a place where cooperation and intelligence triumphed over deceit and aggression. Humans gained recognition not through domination, but through innovation, bravery, and loyalty, the traits that defined them and made them admired throughout the stars. As Eli stood once more on the observation deck, looking at the countless ships traveling through the stars, he felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had not only survived but had proven itself indispensable. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges, threats, and unknown dangers, but humans, with their courage, creativity, and heart, were ready. Leora joined him silently. "The stars are wide and full of possibilities," she said. "With humans as allies, we can face anything." Eli smiled, feeling the weight of the past days and the promise of the future. "Then let's make sure we meet it together with courage, cleverness, and heart. That's what makes humans, humans." The twin suns set over Arden 7 once more, painting the sky with brilliant hues. Across the galaxy, ships glimmered like distant stars, carrying the promise of exploration, unity, and the enduring spirit of humanity. And for the first time in countless light years, the galaxy understood that humans were not just survivors, they were heroes, innovators, and allies capable of shaping the future.